I need y'all to be ready. Need y'all to be ready to do a little bit of work because this is going to be one of the first steps in making your content relevant for the people that you want to reach. So, I'm going to back it up a little bit before I tell y'all the steps, okay? And I'm going to let you know why this is so important. So, this time of year, there's going to be two things that happen. I'm going to say two, it might be more, but there's a couple of things that happen during this year when it comes to content creation. So, let me know which boat you're in. Okay? So, this is either a time for you where it feels like you are ready to slow down, you are not in the mood to really create content, you feel exhausted, you feel like I ain't got nothing left for 2023. Like it can kick rocks. I'm just trying to hobble along to next year. And you don't see the value in really creating content at this time of year. Not to mention there's so many ads that are out there. There's so much this it feels very saturated and very busy, and you might feel like this really heavy desire to like separate yourself and distance yourself from social media. You switched over to YouTube. Hey Amber. Welcome to YouTube. So you might be in that space, right? But there's another space that I encourage people to really explore at this time of year when it comes to your content, okay? And that is a space of reflection. That's a space of really giving your people, the people that you want to reach, giving them something that is helpful, that's useful, that shows your gratitude for them, sharing your story, connecting with people. Hey, Ro, it's so good to see you. Giving them something that is just like really helps them give them a sense of community. I think that's the best way to put it. Giving like a sense of community at this time of year and putting yourself out there when it comes to your content. You got two options when it comes to this time of year. Okay? Yes, and that was the reason why I'm doing this challenge in December. Doing it in December is so important. It's so important for so many different reasons. But I'm going to share a reason with you that I it was such an interesting experience for me, and I couldn't believe that it happened at this time of year. So, I feel like some of y'all know this already, but December was the month where I had my first viral video on TikTok. December was the month I had my first viral video on TikTok. And it was one of those things where I felt like it was never going to happen for me. Like, how many people feel like that? Like, you've been on these platforms, you've been creating content, and not only has it been rough for you all through the year, but now you're at a time of year where there's so many people creating content as well, and you feel like your voice is being drowned out. Yeah, I see a hand over here. I see Amber's hand is up. Who else can relate to that? Like feeling like there's so many voices. I don't feel like there's space for me to break out. I don't feel like there's space for me to be seen. I don't feel like there's space for me to connect with the right people. And that was how I felt. And honestly, there was a part of me that felt like, what's the point in making content right now? Because I don't feel like anybody is paying attention to me. I don't feel like anyone's checking for me. I don't feel like there's anyone who's really listening to what I have to say. But there was something about December where it was like, I have to push. I still got to push and I still got to show up because what I really wanted to do was hang it up. I really wanted to just hang it up. Yeah. Let me move this. There we go. Okay, now I can see your comments better. I see, Cardi, you said, I relate even though I have two viral videos. It's on stuff that doesn't really matter to what I'm trying to do. Exactly. Exactly. And so when I started doing the videos in December, I still had those same feelings, y'all. Like, I still felt like, what's the point? Hey, is it Veronice? Hey, good evening. I'm doing well. How are you doing? I still was in that space of feeling like that. But it was also the month where I still continued to push and I still started to make content. And so I started making a lot of content for fashion. I was doing styling at the time. And so I just started like making all of these style videos. And I just put it out there. And at the time, it still wasn't getting a whole bunch of views. It still wasn't really doing numbers. But I started to become more consistent and still show up during that time of year. And then December 28th, I looked up the date because I was looking at my videos recently. December 28th was when I had my first viral video. And that was the video, that was the time where I felt like, hey, Kareen. That was the time where I felt like, oh my goodness, I'm really good at this. Like I know what I'm doing. I feel like I'm finding my people. And the thing that I want y'all to get from this is that it's not about going viral, right? It's not about having the video with the most views, but it's about having the content that reaches the right people. Okay. That's what we're talking about, having content that reaches the right people. And the reason why I was able to reach the right people because I had a video that went viral over a topic that I cared about and that I wanted to help people with. And once that video did numbers, I started to gain followers who were interested in the things I wanted to talk about. Yeah, exactly. Like, how many people want that? Who's that's what I want. That's me. That's what I need. That's what I'm looking for. Am I talking to the right people? Because if I am, I'm about to talk to y'all about the different things that we're going to do to help us to learn how to tell the stories that we need to tell to attract the right people. All right. So, are y'all ready to learn the first part of this? Let me know. Let me know. Let me put a hand up, do a little dancing emoji. Actually, that's what I'm gonna say. Do the little dancing flamenca girl emoji if y'all are ready. I'm making this difficult. I see y'all saying ready. I ain't gonna be I ain't gonna make it complicated. Okay, I see her. I see her. Thank you. Thank you for humoring me. Okay. So what we're going to learn today is our core story. Okay. I like to call it our origin story. And this is a story that tells people why you do what you do. So, whether you are a beauty creator, whether you do UGC, whether you are a fitness creator, whether you are an author, whether you are a stylist, this is the story that lets people know this is why I do this. This is my story. This is how I got here. Okay. And so there's different stages, different steps to the origin story. And so if y'all are in a space where you can take notes, I would definitely suggest that you take notes on this so that you can go back and fill this in later. Or as you're listening to me, start to put down the details that go along with each part of the story. Okay. So we're going to get started. And the first thing that we have to talk about is our backstory. All right. So the first step is our backstory. The backstory is the it is this is basically where you started, right? Like how, like where was the starting point for you? And the starting point does not have to be back when you was in diapers. It doesn't have to be back when you was in kindergarten. Hey Abby, but this is the story that, like, this is where you were at before you really started this journey of becoming who you are and get into what you do right now. Okay. Thank you for the follow. Hey, Cool Breeze. And so here is my backstory, and I'm gonna share it with y'all so you can get a feel for what your backstory should look like. Okay. So for me, I left my job and I had quit fashion design to discover what I was supposed to be doing as a business owner. And so at this point in time, this my backstory starts around 2019. It kind of fluctuates between 2019 and 2020. And that's because that was a time where I finally learned, like, hey, if I want to be an entrepreneur, if I want to build my business, there's a couple of things that I got to do. The biggest thing was that I had to stop being shy. Like, I had to stop be saying that I'm shy. I had to stop owning that as a thing that was a part of my identity, because it wasn't my identity, and it was keeping me from being able to make a living for myself and build my business. So that's the first thing that was happening. But the second thing that was happening is that I was running a business, a retail business that was not making money, y'all. I was broke five broke. It was not making money. And there was no way that I could even imagine leaving my job and being able to sustain myself doing what I was doing because I was not making money doing it. Okay. And so that's my backstory. That's my origin story. And that was the thing that really kicked off this journey that I went on to getting unshy and becoming an influencer and building a business where I do branding, right? That's where it started. So I want you to think about, what is your backstory? Where did things kick off for you? What was like that aha moment for you? And not necessarily aha. Let me bring it back in. Where were you at before had that aha moment? Were you working at your job and you kept having times where you needed to leave your job, take care of your child, and you got frustrated because there you had to keep asking for permission to leave and you wanted to have more time with your kids? Or maybe your backstory starts when you left college, you graduated, and now you're at this space where you're trying to figure out what you're going to do with this degree. How are you going to get a job? Or maybe you're having trouble finding a job, you can't get an internship, and you're trying to figure out what's next for me. Think about, what is your backstory? Where did you get started? And the thing that's really important about your backstory is that you got to talk about how you felt in that moment. Like it's one of them things where it's, look, I got to make something shake. Okay. So the first step to building your origin story is your backstory. All right. So we got that so far. Is that kind of helping you get your wheels turning? Let me know if you can think about some things that would be like a good starting point for your backstory. And then we're going to get into the next part. Thank y'all for liking the live. I see you, Abby. I see you, Cardi. Loving it so far. Okay. And then can y'all see? Let me know if you can at least think about where your origin story may have started. Just put a one in the chat. Put a one in the chat if you can think about where your backstory started. And this is a good time, y'all. If you have any questions, you can ask them. Let me know, because I want to make sure that you understand how this works, because this is going to be one of the most important things that you will ever do for your brand. Okay. And when you do it and you commit to it, it's going to make your marketing so much smoother. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good. Good. I'm glad it's making sense. All right. So, number two is desire. Okay. So this is the thing that really, this is like the feelings and the emotions that you had. What is it that you wanted in your life? What did you need to change? What had to be different for you? Okay. So mine is that I wanted to have a business that brought together my skills and not to be stuck as a fashion person. Okay. I was tired of being the person who was only known for fashion, especially because it wasn't making me money, y'all. I was like, fashion, I'm not making money doing this. So what am I supposed to do? Because I'm only doing what I know to do, but it's not working for me anymore. So what does this look like? What am I supposed to be doing now? And I just knew, like, I knew I was supposed to be an entrepreneur. I knew it. Like, there was nothing that you could tell me. I knew I had to be an entrepreneur, but I was frustrated because I was like, I can't see how to make a business that makes sense. I can't see this making me any money, and it doesn't feel like I can do it. And that's me being real about where I was at. I had the desire to, I really wanted to do it, but I was scared. I was like, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. I don't know if I'm making the right move. But that was the desire of my heart. And so I wanted to feel fulfilled as a creative person. And I wanted to be as creative as I knew that I could be and as fulfilled. And I wanted to be successful and confident in myself as a creative. And so that was for me, the starting point and the desire, that's what I wanted to have in my business. I wanted to feel confident saying that I was a creator. I wanted to be confident saying that I was an influencer. I wanted to feel like I'm doing the things that feed me, that fuel me, and I'm also doing it in a way that helps people. And what I was doing at the time, I wasn't feeling like that. I wasn't feeling like that. It was still something missing. There was still something that wasn't clicking. Like it wasn't clicking, Stephen. So I had to, I that was like the driving thing for me. Okay, well, what is it? Because that's what I want. So the next step for y'all is to figure out what was the desire. What is it that you wanted to have? What is that thing that you just felt like in your chest? It just like burns you up. Like, I this has to happen. Exactly. And that was my desire. Your desire may not be the same thing. Maybe your desire is to see people be financially free. Maybe your desire is to see people to have a better understanding of the political system. Like your desire may be different. Right. Is your desire to teach people how to use tech and find things that are within their budget and still feel like they can be creative or be filmmakers or be photographers? You might have a different desire than I do, but that was mine. So you got to figure out what yours is. What is your desire? What is it that's like a burning passion for you to see happen? Okay? So, that's number 2. All right? Y'all still following me? Are y'all still following me? Are you able to start to is it sparking some ideas for you? Let me know. You can do the dancing girl emoji again, or you can put another emoji in there. Okay. Oh man, I'm sorry that it was acting up. I wonder if that's something on my end. Yes. Yes, Ava. Yes, Amber. Okay. It's glitching over there. Oh man. Okay. I'm gonna have to figure it out. I'm gonna let it keep rolling, but that's good to know. So thank y'all. I don't know. I might have to do something with the internet. So, but we'll figure it out. All right. So y'all ready for number 3? 3, 3, 3. All right. So number 3 is this is like it's called the old vehicle, right? So this is basically the thing that you were doing that wasn't working. Okay. Whatever it was that you was doing that was not working. All right. And this again, y'all, this goes for anything in your life. Whatever it was that you was doing, however you was thinking, however you was acting, whatever you tried to do, that was not getting you results. It was not getting you where you wanted to be. Okay. So for me, that was running my resale business. Okay, hold on. Let me break down everything that I was doing, y'all, because I was the captain of team too much. Okay, like I was doing the most for no reason at all. All right. And I know when I start listing off this stuff, it's gonna be some of y'all gonna probably be like, wait a minute, I think that might be me. Okay. It might be you too. I was running a resale business. I was designing clothes. I was taking the pictures of my clothes. I was recording the videos. I was going to vendor events. And I was reaching out to brands, and I had all of these things going on, and I had too much on my plate. Number 3 is the old vehicle. It's the thing that didn't work. Okay. Whatever it was, it ain't work. That's what number 3 is. It ain't work. Yeah. Sing manufacturer, look, listen, actress, like look, it was all of the things. All of the things. And trying to be a life coach, y'all. I got my life coach certification in the midst of all of this. How? How? I'm still very much one person. I'm one person. So it wasn't working. You got yours too, Amber? We over here certified, got the credentials, and stressed. Thank you, y'all. Stressed. So that was the old thing that was not working. It was not working. It was not helping me because I had my hands in too many things, way too many things. Yeah, we definitely do. Y'all co-captain of team doing too much? Yes. Yes. Team doing the most. Team, I know you crying at night. Like I was captain of it, all of it. It was way too much going on. And so that was a thing that wasn't working for me. Okay. Now that might be the thing that's not working for you too. Y'all might, that might be your old vehicle. So that is the thing that you are going to talk about, that is a part of your story. What was it that was going on that wasn't working for you? And I really want y'all to think about this again from a perspective of whatever it is that you are trying to build. What is your platform built on? Like maybe your old vehicle was trying to do like fitness routines or workouts with trainers who didn't understand your body. Or maybe you had tried to do all these different home workouts and what you really needed was accountability. Or maybe your old vehicle was that you were constantly putting yourself down, telling yourself you couldn't do it. You were constantly degrading or demeaning yourself, downplaying yourself, and being afraid to show up and be present. And honestly, if I'm being for real, y'all, that's a part of mine too. That's a part of mine too. But for the sake of my origin story, that is not the part that I included in this, because my goal, my desire is to help creatives monetize, help you monetize it, help you build brands and monetize your creativity. And so a part of my story is showing people how I was too focused on different businesses and I wasn't able to really invest in one that I could build well. So that was why that's a part of my story. Okay. But that is how you figure out that first part. All right. So I'm going to go through what those are one more time. The first one, the first part of your origin story is your backstory. All right. Where did it start? The second part is the desire. What is it that you wanted? What is it that you were looking for? What made your heart burn? Okay. And then number three is the old vehicle, AKA it ain't working. Whatever it was that you was doing, whatever it was that was happening, this is a thing that's not working. All right. So that is the first part of telling our story. So y'all with me still? Y'all been taking y'all notes? Y'all listening? The let y'all know now that the replay is going to be available. Is going to be available on YouTube. So if you missed any part of this, I am going to put this up. I'm definitely going to put this up. I'm trying to decide how long it's going to be available though. So we'll see. But that's the first part of it. All right. All right. I see the yeses. I see that this is good. All right, y'all. Okay. So we are going to go into the next three. And I think that, yeah, we're going to have to break this into sessions because this is pretty hefty. So we're going to get into the next part and then we're going to wrap up after that. So we still got time, but just letting y'all know there's multiple parts to this story. So the next one's called The Call. All right. And so this is like the moment where you really had to like, you were introduced to this new way of thinking. Like this is like that first part where it's like, oh, I could probably do something differently, or maybe this is maybe this is a new way that I should approach this, right? And the call, let me make sure. The call usually happens. It usually happens. There's usually like an event that happened or something that occurred in your life where it was like, okay, I'm feeling a little bit differently about this. Yeah. Sometimes it is introduced to you through a person. Like Cardi said, I was that call for her. But it doesn't have to necessarily be a person. It can be an event, like maybe a TV show or a podcast or a movie, or maybe something that you saw was like that moment where it was like, oh, something's clicking, something's changing up for me. All right. And so this was my call. All right, y'all. This is what happened to me. So I knew that I was destined to be a multimillionaire. and own multiple businesses different times in my life, like by people who literally had no idea who I was, right? And so it was one of those things where it was like I never really wanted it. Like I never was like fiending to be a millionaire. I didn't necessarily care. I still am not a person that's big on money, but it's never been the thing that really drives me. It doesn't motivate me, it doesn't move me. And the only time that it really does have a hold on me is if there's something that I know that I need, or if I'm anxious about it. But it hasn't been that thing that really drives. I've never been like a money hungry kind of person. So the fact that it's been prophesied to me is, listen, that's God, because I ain't tell you I wanted that. Okay. And it had always been like, it had always been there. It always been a thing, like a recurring thing that was always happening. And there was always this feeling that I had of knowing that I was supposed to be an entrepreneur. Thank you for sharing the live. Y'all, if this is helping you, share it out with somebody. Ask them when you share it, ask them, do you want help making better content? Or I'm learning a lot from this live. Put that in the message when you share it, because I'm big on sharing stuff with people and giving them context. So if this is helping you and somebody who wants help with their content, share it out with them and let them know that you're learning some good stuff so we can spread the love. All right. But I always had that feeling. I always had that feeling of, I know I'm supposed to be an entrepreneur. And there was this thing, and y'all, let me know if you can relate to this. There was this feeling that I had where I was like, whatever it is that I'm supposed to do with my life, like whatever it is I'm supposed to do, it doesn't exist. Have you ever felt like that? I don't see it. Yeah. Y'all feel like that too? I felt like that in college. I felt like that in college. When I was in college, I had, this is a short tangent, y'all. Please like rock with me on this. It's still a part of the call, but at this time I was ignoring it because it was so scary to me. But exactly. Yeah. And so the thing though, y'all, is that when it was first, like when I first realized it, it was so much scarier to me than it was exciting. I felt like if I don't graduate from college and become a fashion designer, what am I supposed to do in my life? But I couldn't shake this feeling of, I don't feel like this is right. I don't feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. But at the same time, like I hated it, y'all. I hated being in the sewing room. I didn't like the fact that I couldn't socialize with people. I didn't like the fact that like my friends were able to really have this social life and I was sitting in the labs working on clothes. I never liked the technical parts of fashion design. And I also didn't like the idea of being someone's employee, because in college, that's what they were teaching us to do. They were teaching us to be employees. Hey, Simply. Hey, Winter. And that's cute if that's what you want to do. And that's not me demeaning it at all, y'all. Please. I am not demeaning it at all. But it always felt wrong. And it's not because I don't want people telling me what to do, even though I don't like people telling me what to do. I just don't like it. But it was deeper than that. It was like I don't feel like I'm going to be fulfilled if I don't do this. But I was so scared because I didn't know what that looked like. And I felt like I liked so many different things and they didn't make sense together. And so I was like, I don't see a job that fits for me. I don't see an industry, like a singular industry that fits who I am. Yes, I always felt wrong. I always felt like I was just trying to figure it out. And it was one of the most like frustrating things for me because I started to feel like something's wrong with me. Like, why I felt flaky and like unreliable. And I felt right. And so I was really struggling in all these things that I was interested at and being good at so many different things, but also feeling like that pressure to choose something, you know? Hey, Obi. And so that's where I was. And so the call, I hope that like in that story, like you see, like the call is something that has always been there. You've always had like subtle reminders. You've always been like in that space. You've always had these different experiences that spoke to what it was that you were supposed to do. Yes, Cardi, please share the video. Definitely share it and then tag me in it. Yes, yes, share it, share it. You can always count on me, Mask. I'm glad. And so that's the call, y'all. That's the call. So think about those things that have been like recurring in your life, stuff that people have always said about you or things you've always felt. Have you always been talented when it comes to singing? Or have you always had this thing about you that was like really creative or outside the box? Or you were maybe you were people who you're a person who always challenged authority. Like you're the person who always was a little offbeat, a little different, a little weird. And so those are all like parts of the call. Like you've been this thing has been like beckoning you throughout your life. All right. So that's the call. All right. So that's number 4 in telling our story. All right. So what is the call? What's the call in your life? All right, y'all ready for number 5? Number 5? Put some fives in the chat for me if you're ready for number 5. I got on a little tangent on that one, y'all, but that one. Oh, should I keep okay, Imma stop switching up the call to action on y'all. Okay, you can put 5 or you can put the dancing girl emoji. Yay! 10K likes. Thank y'all. Y'all are making me so excited. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. Yes. Dancing girl emoji. All right. So number 5, you're always down for a good time. I appreciate that, Amber, because I can be counted on for a good tangent. You can count on me for a tangent. Okay. So number 5, y'all, is the villain. Okay. Who is the villain in your story? Okay. Who's hating on you? All right. Who's hating? Who is trying to stop you from being great? So I feel like the villain, though, y'all, the villain does not have to be a person. Okay. A villain does not have to be a person. It could be a person, it could be a mindset, it could be a certain like circumstances in your life. You could be the villain in your story. So, who is the villain? Who is the villain? All right. So, here is my villain, y'all. Y'all ready for my villain? The big reveal? Okay. All right. So if you're saying the villain is yourself, you can probably relate to mine. All right. So my villain, the villain in my story, is being shy. That's it. Being shy, calling myself a shy person, saying that I'm shy, owning that as a part of my identity. That was the villain in my story because that was the thing that always kept me quiet. That was always a thing that I would fall back on and use as an excuse for why I can't do things that challenge me, why I can't do things that would help me to get to where I want to go. That was my place of comfort. No, I'm shy. And the thing that's so funny about it is that the title was given to me. People put that on me. Y'all, people would call me shy. And in high school, people called me antisocial. They was like, she's antisocial. She doesn't like people. I love people. I love people. But it was because of the way that I was, that was the label that people gave me. And so I just owned it. I just accepted it. And I think a part of that is because I felt rejected when people told me that. I'm such a sweet person and a caring person and a kind person. How could you think that I'm antisocial and I don't like you? Like that wasn't the thing that was going on with me. If anything, I just didn't feel like I fit in with anybody. And so I just felt super uncomfortable around people because I never felt like I really fit in anywhere. And that was my villain, being shy and then feeling intimidated by like the unknown, being intimidated by what it meant if I decided that I was no longer going to be shy, that I was no longer going to allow that to be an excuse. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what that looked like. If that's not my identity, now I got to figure out what my identity really is. And so some of the things that would come up for me is false humility, and that's a whole other. topic. Humility, okay? Feeling insecure about what I would say, and I would feel insecure. That was a part that was really wild. Like things that I know, I still felt insecure about talking about them because I was like, what if people think I'm a fraud? Or what if I'm wrong? Or what if somebody challenges me? Or what if somebody disagrees with me? Those were the things that was happening. And the last thing is this like script that I would continue to replay in my head. Y'all feeling me on this? It was this thing that I would continuously replay in my head saying that when I try, I lose. When I try, I fail. And that was like on repeat in my mind all the time. Every time I would, think about something I wanted to do, every time I would think about things that I really desired to have, I would say to myself, when I try, I lose. So why try? I was always setting myself up for failure. I was always setting myself up to be disappointed. Even like the things that just like my disposition, while like I am outwardly a very optimistic person, like I'm not somebody that is typically described as pessimistic. I There is a lot of things that I wouldn't do because I was afraid. I was afraid of failing. Yeah, expecting the worst, self-fulfilling prophecy. That's those are my villains. Those are my villains. And so those are the things that were the barrier between me getting to where I wanted to go, between getting to where I wanted to go with my brand, with my platform, and being where I was at right now at this time in my life, which was over it. I was frustrated. I was discouraged. And I had to be honest and say, I'm the problem. I'm the problem. I'm the villain. And so that is the next part of our story. Okay. What is the villain? Who is the villain? And if we're being honest, y'all, like I said, I think a lot of y'all said this already, but for a lot of us, we're the villain. Okay. We the villain, but not us as a whole, but our way of thinking. All right. And it's important that I say this because I want you to be specific about what it is that's holding you back. So calling yourself the villain is one of those things where it's like you make yourself like it's almost like generalizing yourself. You're not all bad. You just have habits that don't help you anymore. You have a mindset that doesn't help you anymore. You have experiences that are no longer serving you. But that doesn't mean that you as a whole are a bad person. Okay. So when you talk about yourself being the villain, I want you to challenge I really want to challenge you to be specific about what is it that you're doing? What is the mindset? And shift your thinking from I'm the villain to this way that I think, this behavior, this thing that I've settled into is the villain. Because then once you separate it from being who you are to it being something that can be fixed, then you can conquer it. Okay. And again, that was number 5, the villain. Okay. I see her dancing girl. Okay. Okay. Y'all thinking about y'all villains? All right. Yes. Speaking to your soul, that makes me happy. I love speaking to the soul. I really do. Okay. So we are at number 6, and this is going to be the last one for the night. You're writing it out. I tell you, Cardi, that's so smart. That is so smart. Write it when you think about it. While you're inspired, write it down. Down. Do the work. And I want y'all to think about how, as I'm talking, do y'all see how y'all are saying, this is me? Oh my goodness. Same here. Hey, Chelsea, I can relate to that. Do y'all see what's happening as I'm telling my story, as I'm talking? This is the kind of content that you can make once you know your story. This is the kind of stuff that you can have. These are the kinds of experiences that you can have with your content once you know how to tell the right stories. I'm literally showing y'all in real time how it works. I'm attracting the right people because I'm telling the right story. And this is the type of stuff that helps you make content that is engaging, that finds the right people, that reaches the right people. Yes, Ava, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that I want y'all to see that it works. It works. Thank y'all. When I tell you it I feel like it seems natural, and it is natural because I'm not lying to y'all. Like, I'm really just excited because this is the truth. This is real. This makes me excited to be able to share it because I know that it's going to help somebody. And so even for people who don't feel like they're the most natural speaker, or who don't feel like they are the most comfortable on camera, when you are passionate about what you're talking about, when you are really passionate about helping people, it still comes across. It shows. The passion shows. Like, it's like contagious. And so this is going to help y'all, man. I promise you. Even if y'all take this little bit and you practice telling this little bit on your lives and your content and your videos and your writing, once you start practicing telling these stories, you're going to start to see, oh man, people are connecting with this. They're resonating with this. Okay. So, number 6, y'all ready for number 6? This the last one for the night. And then we are going to do part the next 2 parts tomorrow. The next 2 parts. Yeah. Ready? All right. I see the dancing girls. So, number 6 is a question. Okay. And that question is, what happens if it's unsuccessful? Okay. And so, this is the opportunity for you to really think about, what happens if I don't do this? Tomorrow is going to be around 9 Eastern time. So around 9. I'll try my best to make an event, y'all, but I just do not be doing good with events. But I'll be on around 9 tomorrow. So, what happens if I'm unsuccessful? Okay? So, what would have happened if I didn't do this? If I don't make this change, if I don't take this step, what's going to happen? If I don't get unshy, what's going to happen? So, here's a list of stuff that I put down as the reason, as what would happen if I wasn't successful. Okay. I was not going to be successful in business. My business was going to struggle. It was going to suffer if I didn't decide that I was going to stop being shy. If I didn't get unshy, my business was going to suffer. And it was going to suffer because I was never going to be confident enough to talk about it. I was going to always play it small. I was going to always hide behind things. I was going to always be afraid to speak up in rooms. I was going to always be afraid to tell people what I do. I was going to always be scared. Always. I was going to always use it as an excuse. So this was something that if I didn't do it, that's where I was going to be. Okay. The next one is that no one is going to know. No one would know what I do. If I don't talk about my business, no one's going to know I have a business. Hey, Star, no one's going to know that I have a business. Thank you, Abby. And so they're not going to know that I have a business, and they're not going to know that I can help them, which would be a tragedy. All 12 of the people that's in here right now on TikTok and on YouTube, you would never know that I could help you. I would never be able to help you. I would never be able to give you this moment if I decided that I was going to stay shy. And that was going to be a travesty. Do people still use that word? A travesty. And if I didn't get unshy, if I didn't make this change, I was going to stay in a business. I was going to be stuck in a business that was not going to do well. Remember, or in multiple businesses at this point. I had my hands in so many things, but I didn't have enough energy. It wasn't enough me to make any of them work because I couldn't commit to any of them. So that was like the cost. That would have been the cost of not making this change. That's what was at risk. All right, y'all. So, what would have happened if you were unsuccessful? And I want you to think about this from the perspective of what you've overcome up until this point, because all of us have something that we've overcome. All of us have had this moment where it was like, if I didn't do XYZ, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. And I'm making sure that I say that because I know that there are things like currently in our lives where we feel like that right now. Like we're being challenged with some things that need to change. And there's some things that we are thinking about and weighing the cost of in terms of where we want to be in the future. And that's great because we should always be growing. But I want you to think about this as you've had this moment at some point in your life already. Okay. So think about what that was. Think about where you were at a different time in your life. All right. And I would make sure that y'all understand that you have overcome something. All right. You've been on this earth any amount of time, you have overcome something. So don't get discouraged. Don't allow the things that are happening in your life right now to make you feel like you are inadequate and that you are not capable of helping anyone with anything and that you are not far enough along that you can't do anything to reach back and help people. You've accomplished something up until this point. So we're thinking about this from that perspective. We still have our goals, we still have where we want to be, but what have you accomplished up until this point? That's what I want you to think about. So, come at it with that perspective when you're writing it. And what you're going to find as y'all do this exercise is that it's going to really boost your self esteem and it's going to help show you how much you've already done, how much you've already accomplished, how far you've already came. And that is going to help you to be able to speak to people with some kind of authority because you do have some kind of authority. You done did something. You can help somebody do something. Okay. So, what do y'all think about that? How are y'all feeling about that? If you feel like you can think about something that you've overcome in your life, I want y'all to put the dancing girl emoji in the comment section so I at least know that, you're seeing it. You're seeing the vision. Thank you, Ava. I am so glad. I'm so glad. Look, I'm making sure people move. All right. Move towards something. Move towards doing something. Way more self-aware. Listen, I'll take it. I'll take it. People used to tell me that I was too deep, that you're thinking too deep. You making it too serious. Why are you being so serious? And I used to feel so frustrated by that because I don't know how to be shallow. Okay. It is very difficult for me. I'm one of them people where, like, if I have to talk to you and the only thing that we have is small talk, I'm going to struggle. I'm going to struggle. I'm meeting you and I'm like, how is your dating life? I just I don't know how to not do that. I'm guessing there's a time and a place for small talk, but it ain't gotta all be deep. But look, yeah. So that's it, y'all. That is it. Let me go through them really quick again because I think it's gonna cut me off on YouTube. So we got backstory, desire, old vehicle, the call, the villain, and what happens if it's unsuccessful. Okay. So if you are over on YouTube, I'm going to post this replay up. Make sure that you go through and answer these questions and write down what comes to mind. And I'm going to see y'all tomorrow for part two.